Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My hotel. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. My name is Vicki Dillard, and I'm so pleased that you're with me today on my own channel at VickiDillard.tv, beloved. As you come in, beloved, be sure to come in giving us a big thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like, be sure to share. I hope you can hear and see me okay. I'm waiting for my chat to show up here, but in the meantime, I'm gonna keep moving forward. That's my ritual, is that as you come in, be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. Okay, on the count of 3, if you haven't, I want everybody to come in giving us a big thumbs up. Okay, I appreciate that so much. Let everybody know that your sister with the curly braids is on live. Okay, are you ready? On the count of 3, let's hit that thumbs up button and share. Of course, we ask that you do that because it helps to send out the notifications, push out the notifications so that other people will know that we are here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, thumbs up, 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 thumbs up. Share. Thank you so very much, family. I wanted to talk to you very, very briefly today while I conduct this live as quickly as possible. You are too funny, accurate. Okay, now I see people coming. Hey, some chick named Star. How you doing, Precious? Hey, Jenny. Hey, accurate. Want to kiss Vicki so bad. Oh, bless your heart. Arthur, so glad to see you. Hi, Miss Lisa. Hi, Vic. It's so good to see everybody, family. Oh, so good to see you all. Thank you so much. And let everybody know that we are here. Now, you all know desperate times calls for desperate measure, right? Somebody say desperate times calls for desperate measures. You know, that's a little saying that we have. Yes. And so Joe Biden's desperately low poll numbers, particularly amongst his most loyal voting bloc, which are Black Americans. And of course, of Black Americans, the ones that they're most concerned about that are constantly defecting from him and the Democrat Party are Black men. Of course, this is the same thing for Black women too, but of course they're really concerned about the numbers with Black men. Yes, and they are saying that really because they feel like that they are more unforgiving, they're more than likely in their minds than Black women, even though some of the numbers are pretty close if you ask me. So desperate times is calling for desperate measures. So he's so desperate, and so are your bones and biscuits sellout Black looking people. Did you hear what I said? I said, so are your Black looking desperate people, your pathetic so-called, your upper echelon in society, your academics. These are the pathetic ones, the leadership at a historically Black college, Morehouse, the alma mater of the great Dr. Martin Luther King and so many others. These knuckleheads, these pathetic bones and biscuits had the nerve to allow Joe Biden to come and to conduct a commencement address at their Black college. You Negroes are out of your mind. Don't you ever on no day question somebody like me about nothing. About nothing. Your education fails you with this decision. Your education humiliates you, makes you look like the Wally Walnut that you are. It makes you look like the ineffective tool that you are for your people. Just the invitation alone. SM, thank you for your gift. Is blessed 1,000-fold. Assalamu alaikum, Vicki. Good to see you. Good to see you too, beloved. The mastermind course is off the chain. Sending everyone greetings from the Lord. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying my mastermind school, beloved. For those of you that don't know, our beautiful, beloved SM5981 that just gave the super chat. They're talking about my school, the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. It's still a very, very low price. We're growing our school, and we're so pleased that we are raising up the new world leaders. The type of information and revelation that I break down, beloved, is divinely channeled, and it has a power to shape your life. And if you are looking to manifest destiny in every area of your life, if you are looking to have unfair advantages in every area of your life, if you're looking to transformation, that this is for you. For the amount that you pay each month for the school, beloved, you can't even fill up your tank, your car tank for that. So if you want something you've never had, you've got to do something that you've never done. So I would invite you to join. The link is above pinned. If you're watching this later, it will be pinned in the comment section. Yes. So thank you all so very much, beloved. I'm so glad that you are enjoying it, precious. Now, family, let's get to where we're going with the quickness. Now, you all know this is not the first time that one of our pathetic Black schools, and I'm saying that with no hesitation, invited Jim Crow Joe Biden to do the commencement address. Yes, I am so disgusted with you all for even allowing this to happen. I am so disgusted with the leadership, but I got to tell you something, because many of you all espouse certain biblical and Christian, false, fraudulent Christian beliefs, that somehow you're moral and upright, and that it's somehow an honor to have the President of the United States to do the commencement address, to send off your babies into the world. Watch this. It's quite the opposite. It's his privilege and honor to be in your presence. If you understood your authority and your power, you would move differently and quit acting like that the United States figurehead who's fallen up and down the stairs, who's completely out of his mind. And when he's addressing world leaders, like I showed you a clip not too long ago, instead of him talking about America standing and speaking intelligently on geopolitical matters for which he was allegedly attending, he instead tells world leaders he's about to go to bed. This is a person that has access to the nuclear codes. The man that told you right before he won the presidential election about 3 years ago, a couple of months before, after securing the nomination, he was waiting to take the oath of office. What did he tell you? He told you that America was doomed because of Black people and because white folks are getting ready to be the minority come 2040. And then he started screaming and hollering and cussing in that same Zoom meeting to your so-called Black leaders, and told us how we're going to be forced to work with Hispanic people. He told you before that you're not Black if you have questions about whether or not you should vote for him or Trump. More than that, he's codified in law the destruction of the Black family for at least 2 generations by and through his masterminding the 1994 crime bill, not to mention the multiple other anti-Black forms of legislation that he supported many years prior. You are sellouts. Those of you that tell us to vote for him for nothing. You are an anathema to your people. You are a disease, a danger. And we must separate ourselves first and foremost from you, because you are a Black looking person. That means you can move around us and blend in. That's what makes you more dangerous. We're not here to play with your funny looking selves. And that requires a different kind of energy. Time is of the essence. Now, the address, I think, was 20-something minutes, and the clips that I saw was too much. I said it was too much. But I want to briefly talk to you about a few points. He had the nerve, and y'all let him do it. Did you all know that he invoked Jesus to a bunch of Black men in this commencement address? That lets you know right there that's played out. The stringy head, blue-eyed version. Y'all should know that tells you everything you need to know when he's coming to your commencement address and he feels like he's leveling up and he's reeling you in when he can invoke Jesus. Jesus keeps you weak. The fake lying wonder Jesus. It keeps you ineffective. It keeps you looking up, talking about he's coming back, and talking about the rapture. This is not to disrespect your biblical beliefs, but baby, if you can tell me that your Holy Spirit tells you that the Holy Spirit will lead you, that your Bible tells you that your Holy Spirit will lead and guide you into all truth. If your Bible tells you that you're supposed to test the spirits to see if they be of God, don't pull back now and think he's bringing this out. You better gird up your loins. Let me hit my gavel. This better work for you. You better not get scared talking about something demonic, baby. Yo, Jesus and your Holy Ghost ought to be able to take this. Or you a liar. And in fact, you're conscripted into the devil's army and don't even know it. Funny looking self. Now this is y'all should be ashamed of yourself. The entire leadership there, the school, the teachers, everybody should be ashamed of themselves. I know a couple of folks objected to him coming and y'all had some kind of meeting, but that should have been more outrage. The whole process. Now, I got to make a couple of points here. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, everybody. Everybody, please hit that thumbs up button, share, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. By the way, family, you can follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. You can follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. I've been receiving all types of comments from folks that saw a recent video that I put up about a former business association that I had with someone concerning previous platforms that I was on. You can take a look at it there and let the video speak for itself. There's going to be other things that are coming in the near future, but be sure to take a look. Go to Vicki X Dillard. That's VICKIX Dillard. You can also follow me on TikTok, on X, a couple of Facebook pages. Just look for Vicki Dillard. I am Vicki Dillard. Make sure you're looking for the real me, because there are a lot of little devilish fakes out there. I'm on TikTok under I am Vicki Dillard, by the way. Okay, now family, let's get into this. So, this thing clipped out. I'm trying to pull up my article that I had posted up, and then when I hit on what I had queued, it cleared out on me. So I was trying to pull up the exact one. Thank you all for your patience, family. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. Okay, is this it? Okay, I want y'all to look at this headline from NPR. Look at the headline that NPR says about Joe Biden's commencement address at Morehouse. What does that headline say, family? What does the headline say? Y'all see that? Okay, I'm missing something here. Okay, because the title switches. Okay, here it is. Y'all see it now? That's what I was looking for. I'm like, what in the world happened? That wasn't the title, but this is it. Y'all see this? I hate when it does that. Look at the small print of the headline there. Now look at that headline, because the moment you click it, it switches the title. I know I ain't crazy. I know what I was looking at earlier. Y'all see that headline from NPR? What does that headline say, family? It says Biden's Morehouse speech met with little protest, but also little enthusiasm. That's a shame, Black family. Y'all disgust me. Hey, Black mama. She said, much love and family. She said, I'm not on YouTube much and glad to see you. It's good to see you, Black mama. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Take a screenshot of this pathetic mess. Biden's Morehouse speech is met with little protest. Shame on you, little docile Negroes. You scared to death Negroes don't know that you at war. Little pathetic, little pathetic, Vicki, leave that alone. Before I say something that the babies can't hear. Somebody said dissent is being said, but it's not being listened to. Baby, when it comes down to that, to the commencement address, sis, no, they shouldn't have showed up, sis. There's no such thing as they weren't being heard for no commencement address. Everybody should have been hollering and screaming. They should have acted a fool. Folks shouldn't have showed up. It should have been outrageous. Here they are with universities like Columbia universities and even a lot of the other public colleges that's been protesting the Gaza genocide, the Palestinian genocide, but they find a safe place with the Negro schools. Shame on y'all. They sitting up here actually trying to see how they can get away with not having the DNC in Chicago. They actually sitting here considering doing it digitally because they're worried about protests, but they find a safe place among the Negroes, the docile, buck-broken Negroes. That is disgusting. And shame on you, Negroes. Shame on you, house Negroes. Shame on you, bones and pathetic biscuits. Don't you ever come over to my channel and nothing related to any of my platforms and telling Vicki's always hollering. She's always enthusiastic and amped up. I gotta be, because Negro, you don't know that we're at war. You sitting here talking about patty cake with the enemy. And while a lot of people are protesting because of the genocide that's happening over there with the Palestinian people, before they started calling him accurately Genocide Joe, we're the ones that should have been on code with folks like me that was calling him nonstop for years Jim Crow Joe. We was calling him Jim Crow Joe because of the undoing he did to black folks. That should have been able to take hold. One of the articles I read from the New York Times article was talking about how some of the parents instructed their children not to protest. Shame on you little sick, twisted mamas and daddies out there. That's why your baby's crazy. Those children ultimately don't belong to you. Yes, you're supposed to protect them. Yes, you're supposed to teach them not to be reckless and stupid and crazy, but you also need to let them know that we're at war. You also need to let them know that there's going to be sacrifice, and you also need to act like it. You heard me right. Some of you mamas and daddies sitting up there telling your children don't do your crazy. That's what's wrong with them is you. I know some of y'all out there feeling some kind of way because I said that. That ain't no level up. You ain't overcome nothing. What you keeping them safe for? We ain't even made no significant difference yet. We ain't out the woodworks. We're still in the thick of war. Back to this piece. Watch this. Thank you for that $100 gift, Ellie. Thank you, Sister Vicki, for your beautiful example of Black American womanhood. You are a gift and an example to our generation. You are true inspiration and treasure. I'm a better mother, wife, sister, and human being because of you. May God bless you immensely. That is so, you have blessed me so much with your extraordinary words, as well as your very kind and generous gift. And it be blessed 1,000-fold, beloved. Thank you so very much. It means more than I can say in this moment. Thank you for that, precious. Thank you so much for that. Watch this, family. Thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up, share, share, share. Let's read just a little bit of this. President Biden told Morehouse College's graduating class of 2024 that he's committed to serving Black voters while defending freedom and democracy in the face of extremist forces that he says threaten the soul of the nation. But then just 6 months into the general election, the speech, which was filled with religious themes of struggle and resilience, also served as a continuation of Biden's warning to his supporters of what he thinks the country would be like if Donald Trump is elected again. Quote, "They don't see you in the future of America, but they're wrong," he said. "To me, we make history, not erase it. We know Black history is American history." So here it is. The chief wizard of the modern Ku Klux Klan sitting there telling you that they don't see you in the future of America. When Joe Biden, 2 months before he took office, said that America is doomed because of you Black folks. He told you that the other reason America is doomed because him and his kind, his people, his race, that's what Joe Biden said. He said they getting ready to be the minority in 2040. He said that's the other reason America is doomed. And y'all let him just come up there and play in your face like that. Y'all are so pathetic. And then you're going to put it on Black men, the ones that he destroyed, helped kill, and put behind bars, and the families he helped to destroy through his legislation, among other things, tells you we got to save democracy. He's putting it on you because he knows his people are so wild and violent and uncivilized that he's putting it on you to save democracy. Do y'all see how twisted and sick that is? For you want us to skip over the threat that Biden is and act like that Trump is the only threat? We know Trump is a devil, but our point is so is Joe Biden. And that's the reason why I'm disgusted by the likes of Charlemagne the God. Everybody putting out that little headline talking about he refused to endorse Joe Biden. Yes, he did, stupid. He set his little funny looking self on The View and said that we all know who the threat to democracy is. They was pressuring him to endorse Joe Biden. And he basically, in the end of the View interview, said, "I'm telling you who the threat is. I'm telling you I'm gonna vote. I'm telling you I'm not. I'm telling you I'm still gonna vote. I'm telling you who the threat to democracy is." With his weak self. Don't forget, I'm the one that's exposed him being protected by them Zionists. This is before October the 7th. When all that stuff was coming out about Ye, and Ye was calling out them folks. Charlemagne the God was behind the scenes undermining him. Charlemagne the God was one of the first ones that came out and called him a Nazi. And then when that footage reappeared, that Charlemagne said the same thing that Ye said years ago, but even worse. White Zionists came out to defend Charlemagne. Y'all better ask Charlemagne what the hell is he doing behind the scenes. The disgusting, you disgust me. The president's commencement address at Morehouse, a historically Black school in Atlanta, also comes as polling shows potentially lower support for his election efforts among Black voters and young Black voters, and as campus protests over conflict in Gaza have disrupted graduations around the country. Biden said he understood angst over the direction of the country, acknowledged dissent about America's role in the world, and said that those who have different views should have their voices heard in the name of democracy. That's my commitment to you, he said, to show you democracy is still the way. Y'all gonna let that man just lie in your face while y'all sit up there? Yes, a handful of the Black Negroes turned their back, about 2 or 3 of y'all. And yes, the valedictorian talking about ceasefire in Gaza. Ninja, you should have been saying that, but you should have said reparations, Ninja. You should have called out his Ku Klux Klan tendencies. The hell are they teaching y'all? Black mama, your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Thank you for your cash app. Y'all sit up here bragging about your little pathetic, disgusting, little nasty degrees. I'm using every bit of language to discredit all that mess you up there doing. Haven't y'all heard it being taught from members of the Nation of Islam that if they won't treat you right, they won't teach you right? You're being inculcated. You're being indoctrinated with their madness. And it's clear that it's working because it's looked at your behavior. Look at your behavior. Shame on you. His speech is also one of many events on his recent trip aimed at speaking to Black voters following events with plaintiffs in the historic Brown versus Board Supreme Court case, meetings with Black Green Letter organizations, often known as the Divine Nine, and before he headlines an NAACP dinner in Detroit. All of that stuff sounds weak, ineffective, and it ain't got nothing to do with engaging the true streets in Black grassroots America. They ignore us to their own peril, by the way. It says Morehouse has seen student demonstrations, but not occupation of campus spaces or clashes with law enforcement. Outside of the ceremony, a small number of protesters gathered while the commencement itself did not see any major disruption. And that's to y'all's pathetic shame. Last week, Morehouse President David Thomas, shame on David Thomas. Y'all need to be following up with all of these schools and all these names I'm giving you, all of these organizations. Morehouse College President David Thomas, said he would rather halt proceedings than have students escorted away for protesting. Well, halt the proceedings in weakness. Halt the proceedings, slave. Halt the proceedings, butt broken. Poodle. Y'all should have made him go there. What you look like complying with that? Y'all, you look crazy. Y'all so pathetic. More than 400 graduating students walked across the stage Sunday, and during Biden's speech, a handful of students, some wearing what it says kifis, how do you pronounce that? Those scarves is what it's referring to. Turned their chairs around to face away from the president. That was so weak. Thank you for those 2 or 3 of y'all that did that. Okay. After the ceremony, Morehouse issued a statement praising the graduating class and their intentionally muted response to Biden. Look at that. Take a screenshot of that quote, of that paragraph. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? After the ceremony, Morehouse issued a statement praising the graduating class and their intentionally muted response to Biden. Quote, "It is fitting that a moment of organized, peaceful activism would occur on the campus while the world is watching to continue a critical conversation," the statement reads. "We are proud of the resilient class of 2024's unity and silent protest, showing their intentionality in strategy, communication, and coordination as a 414-person unit." Y'all are so pathetic. That statement was them giving you your well-deserved doggy bone. Sit, doggy, sit. That was your doggy bone. That's why they chose you. They couldn't even trust their own people to go to their school because they would have given more pushback over Palestinians than you ninjas would have over him being Jim Crow Joe. Calm down, Sister Vicki Soldier. You so true. Don't. I hate when people tell me to calm down. Please don't tell me that. I know you may mean well, but don't do that. Don't tell me to calm down. I'm the goddess. I know what I'm doing. Don't ever tell me that. It's very patronizing. People do that on purpose. Don't tell me to calm down. Even if you mean well, don't do that. If you're not going to use your education to revolutionize the condition of your people and for ultimate Black empowerment, then you need to remain illiterate and ignorant. In that regard, there are other types of education. There are other types of educational modalities that you may need to consider, because this is keeping you stuck. And that's the fantasy of getting a degree like that, because you actually think you're doing something. You think that means something. I'm here to tell you it means nothing. I'm telling you, you are pathetic, disgusting when that is your behavior. Don't you let your mom and your daddy, your auntie and your professors and your presidents of colleges and universities make you think anything differently. I said it and I meant it. It's pathetic, and hell no, I ain't proud of you. I don't care how radical you think that is. Look at our condition after 500 years. I said, look at our condition after 500 years. That's all the evidence that you need to know to let you know how useless and pathetic you ought to feel. That's a shame. D'Angelo Fletcher, Morehouse College's valedictorian, closed his address to his classmates by addressing global conflict, particularly the Israel-Hamas war. For the first time in our lives, he says, we heard the global community sing one harmonious song that transcends language and culture. He said, it is my sense as a Morehouse man, nay, as a human being, to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. Well, guess what? When the Black man was saying that, when the valedictorian was giving his speech and saying that, Joe Biden was sitting there and clapping too for a ceasefire. When Mr. D'Angelo Fletcher, the valedictorian, was giving his speech and calling for the ceasefire, Joe Biden was clapping his funny looking hands, talking about ceasefire too, as if he ain't got nothing to do with why it's not one. Your college is giving out degrees of biscuits. When they gave y'all that congratulatory statement, that means that you were ineffective, baby. That means you didn't do nothing right or good. I don't care what your mama told you. I know I'm making some people mad, and I don't care. Time is of the essence. We're at war for real. Don't you dare let your auntie and your uncle and your dad and them make you think you did nothing revolutionary. Tell them something different. I'm not proud of you, is what I'm telling you. Vicki, I can't believe you saying it, Ninja. I'm not saying to be playing with y'all. Your folks lying to you. I'm going to say this part again. And again, this is later in the article from NPR. Biden's speech at Morehouse comes with intense scrutiny as many presidential horse race polls show the president lagging with young voters, Black voters, and other non-white groups that helped propel him to a narrow victory against Trump in 2020. Those polls for now signal a drop in support for Biden, but not necessarily an equal shift toward Trump. There are also signs that some of the displeasure with Biden is more pronounced among people who aren't as likely to vote in November. While facing a nominal challenge to the Democratic presidential primary, Biden's best performing areas have often come in places with a large share of Black voters. For example, in Georgia's primary contest, 95% of Black voters pulled a Democratic ballot, and Biden won 95% of the overall vote. While some students, faculty, and alumni expressed opposition to Biden's selection as a commencement speaker, reaction on campus during the graduation ceremony was largely positive. You guys disgust me. Why do you discuss me? Because you acting like that is tantamount to you embracing cancer, fool. It's tantamount to you say, let me eat this, drink this poison real quick. It's tantamount to you walking in front of 518 wheelers going 95 miles an hour down the highway. If somebody saw you walking out in such conditions, they would not be whispering to you, watch out now. If a mother saw her 2-year-old get ready to walk across the street and there's traffic coming, no intelligent mother would gently and kindly say, baby, come here, sweetie. A mother or caretaker that would act that way, we would say is irresponsible, wouldn't we, family? We would be saying that any mother that cared about their child would be screaming to the top of her lungs, watch out, baby, while she was running to get them. Y'all at ease while we at war. Y'all chilling, relaxing. Accommodating to these devils. Watch this piece of pathetic trash. I know I'm being strong with it, but I mean it because I know I'm dealing with some spirits. Dr. Tiffany Johnson, a 50-year-old who came to the campus green at 4:30 a.m. to see her son graduate. I was also excited to see Biden. Quote, y'all ain't ready for this quote. He's the leader of the free world, the most important job in the world. And for him to come to speak to Morehouse graduates, to inspire them is phenomenal. Virgil, your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. What Black family is inspired by Joe Biden? Y'all are sick. I got to hurry in this broadcast because you're making me sick. This is why I keep telling you, we can't, what's holding us up is not just no white people. It's first y'all holding us up. And that's the reason why they want you in their institution, so they can continue to control how you think. Because this kind of thinking makes me know that your education is pathetic and useless. You ain't no blessing. I'm not the one to be coming to my house telling my son, Auntie, I done graduate. You better get out of my face. Shoot. I'm going to my nieces and nephews' little events when they know, when they know about the revolution, what we finna do with this. There's a plan and a plot. If you're finna get this education, we're gonna talk about how we're gonna use this to destroy white supremacy and to build for Black empowerment. That's when Auntie gonna throw a party. No, I'm not gonna be out there screaming, talking about no, take no picture. And this is the Lord. No, this the devil, baby. God today. That's who helped you get through this. That's who supported you in this funny looking self. Watch this. This just more disgusting little points that I want to tell you about real quick. I'm almost done. Johnson said, that's the president. I mean, that's the, I'm sorry, not Johnson, the president, the doctor, Tiffany Johnson, the one that told me she came early. Watch this. Johnson said, Black voters who might not support Biden are part of a bandwagon that do not understand what he has done for the community. This is somebody's mama that's excited about their child graduating from Morehouse and talking about how excited that she is to see the president. They're asking her about support for Biden. And she's sitting up here talking about voters who might not support Biden are part of a bandwagon. That's a quote. That don't understand what he's done for the community. and said his speech would be an ideal opportunity to share his accomplishments. Now you know why I titled today's broadcast. What did I title it? What did I title it? Morehouse College betrays the Black community by inviting Joe Biden to a what? A graduation campaign. Because that's all it was. Y'all look and sound crazy. Y'all better go crazy on all whoever's mamas, daddies, aunties, and anybody that supports that madness. Watch this. Just a little bit more, y'all, because you understand why I'm upset. Watch this. In the speech, Biden touted a track record that he says makes key investments in Black communities. He said, including a record $16 billion funding package toward historically Black colleges and universities, protecting voting rights, and creating economic policies that strengthen Black business. Did none of that happen? Ain't none of that gonna happen. That $16 billion is useless going to these Black colleges and universities when you come out thinking and acting like that. I want all of them to implode and explode, figuratively speaking. I don't want those institutions to exist if you're coming out like that. That kind of thinking means that you're only going to continue to keep us in bondage and support the status quo. The status quo is white supremacy. I don't care nothing about none of them schools not getting funding at this point. If this is how y'all gonna act. That's the NPR article, the New York Times article that I read, highlighted the points that he invoked Jesus. Y'all was happy when he invoked that Jesus in the commencement speech. He told you, Black men, he started talking to y'all about manhood. Did y'all know that? The manless Joe Biden meeting with Black men to tell y'all about what real manhood is. He was basically throwing shots at Trump. And he was telling y'all that ain't no man talking tough. He was using that language. But he was legislating tough, didn't he? And put your butt behind bars, responsible for the murder and the destruction of 2 generations of the Black family. I can't wait. It's an honor, mamas and daddies out there. It's an honor to have Joe Biden speak. He gonna inspire the babies and stuff. Leader of the free world. I couldn't have been my child. Couldn't have been mine. I said it couldn't have been mine. I know some of you parents don't like what I'm saying because you want to keep your babies cradled and you scared that they're too vulnerable not to know the difference. Those aren't your babies. They come through you. The divine allowed you to birth them. But we at war, and you better be tapping into the divine to try to figure out what part they're supposed to play in this war. I know y'all don't like that, but that's because you don't really believe we're at war. I'm here to tell you there's another mother. That's a digital mama, Vicki Dillard, telling you. Woe be unto you that train yours like that and that supports such a mindset. Woe to you that are at ease with our hell and that continue to promote and build it and to sustain it. And that's exactly what you do when you say such things and support such things. Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. I teach revolutionary principles in my spiritual school. I'm talking to the real world shakers and history makers. It requires a certain spiritual power to be able to do the stuff that I'm talking about, which is why you need to hurry up and get in my spiritual course. And it's the reason why they invoked your weak Jesus during the commencement address. Do you think that Joe Biden giving a commencement address anywhere else, that he would be sitting up there talking about some Jesus to any other group? He talks about Jesus to you because they understand how it keeps you weak. It invokes something in your emotions that has to do with bowing down, being docile, and turning the other cheek type stuff, which means that you're no threat to the status quo. You're no threat to your own undoing. And that is the reason why you need a new spiritual revolution. And that's exactly what the Vicki Dillard Mystery School is going to do for you. Do you understand that? It's not by accident that they fused those things in that commencement address. He wouldn't have been able to get away with that with nobody else. That means because you're still susceptible to that weakness. Yeah, you are. I'm going to say this and I'm going to get ready to go. When he invoked George Floyd, when he invoked about black men being murdered and hinted at that kind of stuff, he's the one that's responsible for murdering you. He's responsible for tough on crime. Remember? The devil was sitting there in your presence, deflecting to some phantom they when he's the they. And only two of y'all turned your back. And by the way, did y'all know that some of y'all actually clapped? A couple of y'all gave him some hand claps. Enough of it to where it wasn't. I mean, the booze wasn't enough. It wasn't no booze and all that. Nobody care about turning the back for 2-3 people, and you can still hear people clapping for this food. Let me tell you something. You all know that I have read, those of you that are my day ones that have seen me over the years that helped to build multiple platforms and networks. I have quoted over the years from this Understanding the Assault on the Black Man, Black Manhood, and Black Masculinity for a few years. On page 153, of course, I am familiar with some of these uprisings, but I use this book because it's concise and it's in one spot. And so I can get to the point quicker by me quoting from this particular section. That's why I do this. In the section of this book that says Operation Ferdinand, creating docile black males, that's what I'm talking about. That's why he chose you. Y'all send this link to everybody you know that go to these black colleges and universities, and anybody that think like them that go to regular colleges and universities. I need you to understand, you little funny looking Morehouse men. You better come in some Nat Turner energy. That's what I'm proud of. You caught the date. That's when I would put it all on the line to get you a car, a house, or whatever's necessary for graduation, for that kind of energy. Talk black to me, somebody. Denmark VC stuff. Then y'all see the movie Django? What's the sister's name that played Django's wife, his woman? That movie was the greatest love story ever told. God, today. Somebody remind me, what was her name? She spoke German in the movie. I know her real name is Kerry Washington Fan, but I'm talking about in the movie Precious. Okay, Black Mama told me. What is it? Broomhilda. Thank you, Precious. Broomhilda. Y'all know y'all got to help me with this stuff. Kerry Washington played Broomhilda. And Jamie Foxx plays Django, yes? Talk black to me. What turned her on is when he blew up stuff. God, today. When he was taking out the enemy, when he was unrelenting, she fell way more in love. She was way more submissive. Talk black to me, somebody. Just everything in her was tickled and soft. Everything in her world made sense. Talk black to me, somebody. Y'all play too much. Somebody said that part. Tell the truth. That was so sexy. That is so attractive. He was going to blow up everything for his woman. And then when he got her, watch this. When he freed her, watch this. He didn't stop. He didn't get weak in the middle of it and say, oh, I forgive. No. The more he blew up, the more she said, oh my God, this is the man of my dreams. Boy, wait till we get home. Talk black to me, somebody. The more he was unrelenting, she was like, oh my God, this man, oh my God. She glowed more. She was radiant. She was radiant. Radiant. Was she? Even when she thought it was over, he found a way to get her and blow up stuff. And then when he got her, he was unrelenting. She was like, oh my God, this man, what a man. Oh my God, boy, what? And do you think somebody could come tell her something about her man? Do you think that if she's in the presence of somebody that was talking crazy about her man, and they would look at her as if she's supposed to do something about it, she would look at them and say, fool, what you looking at me for? Did you hear what he said? That's what I would have said. They would have looked at me like, what you gonna do? I ain't doing nothing. Did you hear? I would be looking at you, fool. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what my man said? Did you hear what my man said? Did you hear what he said? Yeah. Let me get on this horse behind him, because that's what they was doing. They was galloping out. The galloping off was a chariot. For me, it would have been. Child, you would have been like, Vicki, girl, if you don't get down. I don't even ride horses, but you couldn't have told me nothing that day. Somebody put a horse in the chat and some horse and stop. She was galloping off with him like that. That was love. That was love. That was love. That was love. Wasn't nothing he couldn't do. Wasn't nothing she wouldn't have did. Wasn't nothing even to say. Wasn't nothing to say with a man like that. What? What is there to say? What did she do at the end? She was giggling and laughing and galloping with the horse, but was laughing. She was tickled. She was in her deep, deep, deep feminine energy. Just relaxed and free. Fun. Just playing. Skipping around and stuff. That would have been me all day. Just that's all I would be doing. My man is just playing all day. That's it. Just play. Play all day. I'm laughing, but I'm telling the truth. That's it. Just play all day. That's it. Just be silly and play. That's it. Just playing all day and night. All Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Vicki, please read the book. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Share. Watch this. Somebody say she building. You got to tell them, babe. That's it. She don't have to worry about no weakness. She wasn't worried about he knew how to figure out how to get to her. She wasn't worried about, does he know how to defend me? Is he gonna be able to? It wasn't none of that. It was over. Shoot. Y'all play too much. Watch this. Let me help you weak, docile Morehouse men that sat up there and didn't do no kind of resistance or pushback. Yes, he's accurately called Genocide Joe, but y'all should have been on him being Jim Crow Joe because of what he did to us. 2. Watch this. Let me tell y'all why he chose you, why he felt comfortable and safe. This is why he chose you. This is why he chose you. Let me remind you of y'all's history. Let me remind you of your history so I can go real quick. What y'all laughing at me for? Watch this. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Watch that movie. Greatest love story. I ain't never seen no love story that come close to Django. The love between Broomhilda and Django. Man, unmatched. Talk black to me. Watch this. Thumbs up, everybody. Watch this. It talks about the new rebellions. How many of you all know one of the reasons why they like to control the history books, the reason why they like to control the media and all that, because they don't want you to know the pop-ups of your people pushing back. Now, I ain't gonna say this I ain't gonna say all this, but because I can't say, we can only say, I'm just reporting the news. I want everybody to reserve judgment, okay? Okay? I'm gonna give you an example of what I'm talking about before I go. I'm gonna get to this in a minute. I'm going to get to this in a minute. Watch this. The seeming success, because I want y'all to hear this, because see, the media, they're not going to tell you these stories. They're going to tell you this ain't real, or most of y'all was just talking about Dr. King and nonviolence. But I got to tell you the truth. We got to give you the real story, yes? The seeming success of the Civil Rights Movement, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Voting Rights Acts of 65 had already greatly perturbed those elements of American society committed to the old racial order. In other words, the weak little efforts that Black folks pushed for voting rights and civil rights, white folks was going crazy over that. That's him saying that real sweet and diplomatic. Watch this. The nonviolent activism and agitation and social disobedience that were the tools of civil rebellion provoked the ire of law and order establishment. Right, family? I need y'all to listen to me real good right here. A government backlash was already in development when a game changer occurred. Y'all ready for this? Y'all know, like I mentioned earlier, many of you that have heard me teach over the years on multiple platforms and networks, you all know that I have quoted from this a few years ago and in recent years, yes? But I need you to understand how this is connected to those docile, butt-broken males that y'all call Morehouse graduates now. They leadership too. Watch this. After the arrest of Black motorist Marquette Fryer, y'all remember that? In August of 1965? Wait, when I say this, it's going to make sense who I'm talking about, because you may not recognize the name. In August of 1965, what happened, y'all? The Watts section of South Central Los Angeles. I'm not from there, but am I telling the truth, somebody? What y'all know about the Watts riots? Y'all remember that? August of 1965, the Watts section of South Central Los Angeles erupted into 6 days, August 11th to the 17th, yes, of violence and confrontation with the police, resulting in 34 dead, 1,032 injured, 3,952 arrested, 600 businesses destroyed, and a total damage of $40 million back in the day. Who did that? I said, who did that? I said, who did that? The Watts riot or Watts rebellion was considered at that time the worst riot in American history. But before, somebody say before, somebody say before, somebody say before. But before the wounds of Watts could heal, in July of 1967, yes, that means it was still fresh off of that, right? Because the other one was in 65, this is 67, right? So before the wounds could even heal, what happened? Before they could even settle down good, right? Detroit blew up after a police raid on a local bar. 5 days of one of the most destructive riots in the history of the United States. The Detroit Rebellion resulted in what? 43 dead. Derek, your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Derek is always a big supporter of mine. Consistent supporter. The Detroit Rebellion resulted in what? 43 dead, 1,189 injured, more than 7,200 arrested, and 2,000 buildings destroyed. Somebody say, who did that? We didn't say that this was the 1700s, 1800s, and it's the 1900s. We said this was when? In the 20th century, right? This was in the 60s. Yes, family? Who did that? I said, who did that? Somebody said, I said, who did that? The wounds didn't even heal from the Watts riots before it could even heal. You said it right. FBA was popping off all over America. And that's not no little damage. And that's without nuclear weapons. And that's without AK-47s. Somebody said that damn oppressor. No, Black men and women, honey, was doing that, baby. That was the pushback from white supremacy. Listen. Keep listening. After the assassination of Dr. King, was that still in the 60s? Somebody say before. Somebody say before. So basically, before the 65 wounds could heal from Watts riot before the what? Before the 67 wounds of the Detroit rebellion could heal. And there was some other stuff that was going on too. What happened in 68, April 4th? Dr. King, over 100 American cities saw riots or some form of rebellion during what had been dubbed Holy Week uprising. You all want to sit up here and talk to us about Easter being Holy Week. The revolutionaries knew what to call it. They call it the holy. Somebody say holy. Somebody say holy. The Holy Week uprising. See, when you're real spiritual, you know what to call it. You better stop letting that devil sit up there and tell you it's about you being quiet and sitting your funny looking self there while America go blow up stuff, while she drops atomic bombs and nuclear weapons. She tell you in the face of oppression and genocide and war, don't fight back. She doesn't go back. Black folks that was about that life knew what to call it. Somebody say, this is what you call holy. How come they kept this from us? Why they didn't teach us about all this that was going on? They trying to make light. No, this was a big deal. Cities was blowing up left and right. Brothers and sisters were putting in that work. People was in prison by the thousands, and they was unaliving folks in large numbers and causing tens of millions of dollars in the 60s worth of damage to buildings, destroying 2,000 buildings in one state. Yo, what was that? It was called Holy Week Uprising. Watch this. Some of the biggest rebellions were in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Kansas City. These uprisings, what? Shook the nation. The causes were studied. Don't miss this, because I'm scared y'all gonna miss this. That's the thing that your enemy paid attention to. I'm just giving you the history. I'm just giving you news. So when Joyless Reed and all the rest of them black sellouts and bootlets and shields and weak individuals tell you that all we need to do to get real change is when they tell you what caused change for us was because our black families that voted, when they invoke our ancestors and tell you that they died for the right for us to vote, and that's the reason why we got the change today. No, it's not why we got the change. That's not why we got the change. Y'all lied to us about why you was even acting like you was about to change. You didn't do no substantive change, but to the minute that you start getting scared a little bit, this wasn't no voting about that, had nothing to do with that. Because didn't I tell you that the civil rights was 64, right? The voting was 65. They start blowing up stuff around that same time and after. So wasn't that? Somebody say, wasn't that? Somebody say, wasn't that? Y'all was still playing. Even when that legislation was there, it was still injustice. Y'all was so scared of FBA resistance. The FBA rebellions was hitting so many cities, causing so much damage and unaliving a whole lot of folks. What happened? Was it the Voting Rights Act? Was it that? Was it that? Was it the Civil Rights Act? Hell no, it wasn't that. The uprising shook the nation. The causes were studied and recommendations were made that could prevent future explosions. After the Watts Rebellion, the McCone Commission studied that. The MCCON Commission, I said study that. The McCone Commission, established by California Governor Pat Brown, how many of y'all remember that? Identified the root of the riot as high unemployment, poor schools, and inferior living conditions of Black people. The 101-page report, family. By the way, the name of the report, you can look it up, family, is called Violence in the City, an End or a Beginning, a report by the Governor's Commission on the Los Angeles Riots of 1965. Look that up. Made specific recommendations and eradicate the social causes of the violence, such as more job training, increased low-income housing, and emergency literary programs, etc. Most of these were not acted upon. Likewise, after the Detroit Rebellion, what happened? President Johnson. How many of y'all heard of President Johnson? So whenever they try to tell y'all the reason why we got the Voting Rights Act, tell them they a lie. Tell them, I know the year that the Voting Rights Act went through. Say, I know when the Civil Rights Act went through. And say, I know when all the rebellions popped off and we blew up America. Tell them stop lying about how change happens. Tell them stop lying. Watch this. Likewise, after the Detroit Rebellion, President Lyndon Johnson established a National Advisory Commission. Y'all look that up. On civil disorders, also known as, how many of y'all remember this title? I know y'all remember this name, the Kerner Commission. Even if you don't remember the details. Yes, I have to go research stuff in terms that I heard before and don't remember the details of, or never knew the details of. Study the Kerner Commission, family. The Kerner, Kerner Commission. Watch. To investigate the causes in Detroit. See, this is what scared your open enemy. The final, watch this, the other one was 101 page, right? The final one, what? 426 page Kerner report released on February 29, 1968. Concluded that the riots resulted from Black frustration at the lack of economic opportunity and called for the creation of new jobs, new housing construction, and the end of de facto segregation that created the ghetto environment. It says, again, these sober assessments and recommendations were ignored. Instead, the U.S. government gave ear to a very different analysis of the riots and invested large sums of money to pursue and implement a different set of recommendations. Y'all know what that is? Is what here our brother calls mind murder, creating Black zombies. He quotes one Peter Roger Bregan from this piece called The Second Wave, 1975, says, in Philadelphia, a Black man dies of an overdose of heroin, and a reporter notices peculiar scars on his head. A portion of his brain has been burned out in an experimental attempt to cure addiction. The neurosurgeon is located by the reporter and admits that his monkey experiments were inconclusive before trying his operation on human addicts. Below that, it says, Dr. Frederick Goodwin, director of the National Institute of Mental Health, made comparisons between inner city youths and violence over sex monkeys in the wild. Los Angeles Times, October 14, 1993. Y'all know all I'm going to do is give you the receipts to study. It's American history. This is what they did to us. September 1967, after the riots and Detroit rebellions, 3 Harvard professors, I've discussed this plenty of times, but I got to talk about it again, published a letter in the Journal of the Medical Association entitled Role of Brain Disease in Riots and Urban Violence. Frank Irvin was a psychiatrist, while Vernon Mark and William Sweet were neurosurgeons. Mark, the head of the Department of Neurosurgery at Boston City Hospital, and Sweet, the director of neurosurgery at the prestigious Massachusetts General. This is why I don't give no hope to some of y'all schools, because y'all see how the scientists create devilment and death. Y'all see how they use academia? Hello, Fauci. Y'all better quit being stupid. You better know how to use your intelligence. And you better know how when your enemy singles you out and tell you that you're smart and to come work for them, they're trying to make sure that you don't actually use your skills to free your people. They want you in their death labs. There's always that dance between your government and education and your oppression. Don't you ever forget it. According to the Harvard professors, the Black rioters were not, in fact, motivated by frustrations born from unlivable socioeconomic conditions. Rather, these are your devilish scientists. Y'all see how I weave this into the Morehouse and education and higher learning? You see how I'm weaving it in on the subjects of these devils, which were Black males. And I'm telling you, Joe Biden went to talk to docile, weak Black males the other day. You see how I'm connecting that? Just like these neurosurgeons were working on Black men's minds, Joe Biden was working on your mind, and you must be out of your mind for not putting up a resistance for this fool being there, giving a commencement address. And more than that, your leadership at Morehouse gave Joe Biden an honorary doctorate degree. Guess what the honorary doctorate degree was in, y'all? Do y'all want to guess what honorary doctorate degree the Morehouse leadership gave Joe Biden? Y'all ain't gonna believe it. For those of you that hadn't been following it, they gave him an honorary law degree. The mastermind behind the 1994 crime bill that Bill Clinton signed. Morehouse College gave Joe Biden an honorary law degree. Joe Biden used the law to destroy 2 generations of Black families. And your disgusting and pathetic Morehouse leadership decided to give him an honorary law degree. Vicki, keep reading. I'm about to be finished. Back to the neurosurgeons. It says instead of them coming to the conclusions like the Kerner Commission came to, right? Yes. And the other 101-page report titled Violence in the City, an End or the Beginning, a report of the Governor's Commission in Los Angeles for the Los Angeles riots of 65. Instead of them coming to that conclusion of those reports, the 101-page reports, and then the 426-page report of the Kerner Commission, instead of them coming to those conclusions that it had to do with socioeconomic injustice, they use these devilish scientists, these devilish neurosurgeons. What happened? Listen. Rather, the Black males in the middle of the rebellions, according to these scientists, these doctors, actually suffer from a brain disease that made them prone to senseless violence. Y'all see how they use education as a weapon against you? The trio suggested that in addition to the violent urban rioters, social protesters too suffered from a brain dysfunction. The solution? Suppress the Black rioters and social protesters, as well as their leaders, through psychosurgery. We're talking about the United States of America, what they did to you not too long ago. As John Horgan remarks in their book, Violence in the Brain, Irvin and Marx suggested that the brain stimulation or psychosurgery might quell the violent tendencies of blacks rioting in the inner city. Psychosurgery, a form of cerebral destruction, is any surgery to the brain which mutilates or destroys brain tissue in order to control emotion or behavior without treating any known disease. It's a pacifying operation that blunts emotions and subdues behavior. Do you see why I told you all that you Negroes that are your Morehouse graduates are docile, buck-broken? As well as the leadership there? Oh, baby, I ain't missing words. Opponents of the procedure, Dr. Peter Breggin, known as the conscience of the mental health industry, notes, quote, its primary and overriding clinical effect is subsequent production of mental dysfunction. Psychosurgery techniques produce docility. I will say that again. Psychosurgery techniques produce docility, making tractable, watch the word he's getting ready to use next, and tame individuals considered intractable and aggressive. How many of y'all know under the Trump administration, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to give to a nonprofit organization to study some of the Black Kenyan soldiers? How many of y'all remember Vicki talking about that? I said, I didn't even say even the 60s. I didn't say the 70s. I didn't say the 80s. I didn't say the 90s. I said under the Trump administration. I covered it. So yes, I'm going to always talk to you all about international politics because you need to understand where you stand in it. Who just said it? Chunky said, I remember that broadcast. Thank you for saying it, beloved, because I talked about it a bunch of times. Under the Trump administration, while you, with your very Black taxpayer dollars, your government was studying Black soldiers, and they singled out some of the Kenyan soldiers. And guess what were the 5 points that they wanted to know about those Kenyan soldiers that they were studying? They wanted to know about why this particular group was tough. They was targeted those that were tough, heterosexual. That's not what's in this book. I'm just reading a side note. This is not in the book. This is me connecting the dots from an article I read. He doesn't refer to that in this book. Those that were tough, y'all remember? Heterosexual. I said, this is your government stipulations. Aggressive, unemotional, and achieving. Just a few years ago, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to do the secret study of the Black Kenyan soldiers that was giving America's dirty little soldiers that was over there making mischief in Africa. Because like y'all don't know how many bases our government has, almost 1,000 bases and installations around the world. And so the group that was giving them the greatest hell, they wanted to study. And the ones that they singled out were those that were heterosexual, those that were tough, aggressive, achieving, and unemotional. I gotta go. I'm bringing this up to let you all know that they knew the whole time that it was socioeconomic conditions that contributed to the riots. And it scared America so bad that it forced state and federal government to go into action. And instead of them doing the recommendation of the Kerner Commission, instead of them giving us reparations, instead of us giving us fair housing, instead of giving good jobs, they said, let's make mischief. Let's start messing with their brains, and let's start flooding their communities with drugs so that it can affect their thinking and ultimately their behavior. So your government went to war on you again, using science, using the health industry, because they didn't want to do what was right and the recommendations that were put in those reports. Y'all scared them so bad. FBA, Foundation of Black Americans. It wasn't no one-off in one little town. You were setting off hundreds of cities and towns throughout the 60s. Y'all was unaliving folks. Y'all was willing to go to prison. Y'all was setting thousands of buildings on fire. America shook. And that's after the passage of the Voting Rights Bill and the Civil Rights Bill. And so they said, oh, we got to do something about this real quick. These ninjas is crazy. They said, no, we can't really do justice. We know this is what the real problem is. Instead, let's make mischief. Let's start messing with their brains. Let's keep them docile. And what was one of the big words I told you? Tamed. So they use the pharmaceutical industry, and they use the science industry. They use education, and hell yeah, they use your religion to keep you docile. Somebody said, dropping gems, Vicki. You know how I do. I'm connecting the dots to let you all know that my diagnosis politically, media-wise, as a spiritualist, is that something is really, 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 really wrong with you. And to the degree anybody celebrated you getting them degrees, I'm telling you that your mom and them should have did that. And I know some of you parents that listen to me now scared to death, but you're not going to help our world to come by lying. These are a few things for you to consider. And you need to consider what you're going to do about it. I'm just giving you the reports. I'm just letting you all know, not to say go out to do something crazy and reckless. Obviously not. I'm giving you a recount of history. And I'm showing you that when you don't resist, that there means that something is actually wrong with you. I'm trying to show you that the work that they did, not only the stuff that's in the air and in our foods, but the way they train you to think is demonic. And something is wrong with you when you accept your oppression. When you don't protest, when you don't resist, I'm trying to show you how it's a sign that something is actually the matter with you. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. I'm raising up real revolutionaries using the greatest power in the whole wide world on multiple planes. Not the greatest power in the world, the greatest power in the worlds, plural. Your spiritual power, your metaphysical power, your supernatural power. But that takes time to transform. If you want to know about that for a very, very low cost every month, be sure to join my school, the Vicki Dillard Mystery School, the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. The link is attached above in the comments, in the chat, pinned at the top. If you're watching this replay later on, it's going to be pinned in the comment section. Be sure to share it. I'm your sister with the curly braids. It's a pleasure to come to you. I can't wait to see you again.